Hello and welcome to Sunday League Virtual Season 2, Round 4, here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're having a wet qualifying session, lots of standing water, although the rain's not continuing to fall, but all of qualifying is predicted to be wet. Let's see how these drivers get on in these wet conditions. Now, as per usual, I'll run you through the upgrades for this race. So here they are, just at the bottom of your screen here, taking up about half of your screen actually. We have Team Velocity with a double turbo success for this weekend. FVR failing a speed upgrade for the third time this season. THX succeeding a turbo, and WTech succeeding a double turbo. Nobody who's gone for a double turbo yet has failed in 4 attempts. Interesting. SFR fail a single turbo upgrade. BAR succeed in acceleration upgrade. SPM and KRT fail their respective turbo and speed upgrades, while PMP and BFX both succeed their speed upgrades. Both of those teams have gotten an upgrade every single round so far this season, particularly useful for PMP, who were really in the gutter after the regulation change, but have pulled themselves pretty level. So, I'll hide this away once more. As we look at the end of the qualifying session, the track actually nearly dry, but a little bit of light rain back on its way, so I don't think it will dry out fully. It might do just as they reach the line, and it has now. They've done the full qualifying session in the wet and set their best lap times right at the end. We'll have to see how it shapes up. Sobel takes pole position. Urist starts alongside him on the front row. Jake Brad will be starting third for BAR. 4th and 5th are the BFXs of Bluebell Boy and Rito. 6th starts Levioso for Spy Motorsport. Then 7th is Vlad01 for Superfast Racing. 8th Game on Goose for Flying V Racing. 9th is G4, making it a double top 10 for the PMP team. And 10th is Ikolowski, making it a double top 10 for the BAR team. Just outside the top 10, Vlado204 in 11th place, Grandi in 12th, Anti takes 13th, with Andres in 14th, Kubo 15th place, Pit Crew 16th, then Hernandi, Jiruni, Spuda and Hetmenica is the rest of your order. You might be wondering, what are the tokens? What's going on here? This is what's going on here. This is exactly what's going on here. 5 drivers have spent tokens. Urist, who'll be starting 2nd, spends 3 tokens. Sobel, who'll be starting on pole, spends 4 tokens. Then we've got Jake Brad, who's spending 1 token, starts in 3rd place. Levioso, spending 2 tokens, starts in 6th. G4, spending 2 tokens as well, starts down in 9th. Every other driver, so the BFXs, the FVRs, the THXs, the WTechs, the SFRs, every other driver on the entire grid is spending 0 tokens. So in order, the 0 token spenders therefore would be Bluebell Boy, Rito, Vlado1, Goose, Ikolowski, Vlado2, Grandi, Anti, Andres, Kubo, Pit Crew, Hernandi, Jiruni, Spuda, Hetmenica. Fascinating, never something seen before in Sunday League Virtual. There's so few tokens spent in a race. PMP, with only 2 points to their name this season, started 3rd on the grid last race. They'll be starting 1st. Pole position for Sobel. He's done back-to-back token dumps. Let's see if it will actually pay off for him this time. We're ready to get underway here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It looks to be a pretty unpredictable, a pretty wacky race, and I really hope that you're all here for it and all going to enjoy what should be a fantastic one. Let's get right into it. Dry start here, 5 lights ahead of the drivers. We're underway here in Baku. Sobel leads them away from pole position. He's on the hard compound tyre. Urist on the mediums tucks in behind him. Jake Brad looking to challenge in the background. He's under pressure from Bluebell Boy, who looks to try and slip through there potentially. Anyone making a move into the car section? No. Jake Brad though gets a move on the exit, goes round the outside of Urist as light rain is announced. Levioso looking to hunt him down too. Bluebell gets a bad exit. He's down to 5th place under pressure from G4 already. Sobel still in 1st. Then we've got Levioso behind Urist hunting him down. All the cars will pile into the pit lane. Will they take the inters? Will they take the wets? It's going to be the wets for Urist. It's going to be wet for most drivers across the field. Lots of chaos here. Lots of people getting blocked in the pit lane. And the rain is going away, but 0 drivers took the intermediate tyres. This is actually something we saw it last season in Baku, that a lot of drivers, every single driver in fact, take the full wet weather tyres instead of risking the intermediates. I'm not sure why that is, but that's just the call that they've made. Urus in second place. Jake falls back after a bit of chaos in the pit lane. G4's really capitalised on that. He's up to 4th place already. Can he make a move round the outside? He gets the move done before turn 1, and it's a double PMP podium as it stands. The team who, coming into this season, were a bit of a laughing stock, a bit of a, worst car. They're not going to surely be able to do anything with that. They have hit the absolute jackpot here in Baku. They are spending 6 of the, oh gosh, I don't know how many, 12 tokens spent in total across the entire field. Unbelievable. G4 and Urus battling it out. They're both going into the pit lane. They trigger the limiter. Urus slowed down nicely for it. That backs them up a little bit. The PMP's double stacking. G4 gets in just in time, but he does get slightly blocked by Bluebell. Levioso getting quite badly blocked by Vlado204. Rito piles out of the pit lane. That's the exciting thing about these custom tracks. You get a lot of that pit lane drama. Jaruni and Hetmenica, pit crew, and Hernandez, your bottom 4. Sobel breezing away from pole, but we've got a great fight for second place here. G4, Urus, Jake Brad, and Bluebell Boy all scrapping over it now. G4 just breaks through. It's interesting because he is on the hard compound tyre. Urus on the hards as well. Bluebell on the mediums. Jake on the softs. Jake looking to really make an impression here. I mean, this is, of all the races that you want to be spending 1 token, this is the race. Spending 1 token and getting an incredible result would just be unbelievable, and it's definitely the opportunity here. Urus to the outside of Jake Brad at the exit of the castle section. Jake falls down into 5th place. A little reminder again, Urus is spending 3 tokens today, and then we also have Jake spending 1, Levioso spending 2, Sobel spending 4, and G4 spending 2. Fascinating, just 5 drivers. Sobel still in first. It's a 1-2 for PMP. I mean, this is unbelievable that this is the situation that the team have gotten themselves into. We had the first ever double podium in Sunday League Virtual, with SBM getting 1st and 3rd place in Malaysia. We've never had a 1-2 from the same team in Sunday League Virtual. This definitely is the opportunity for it today, as G4 looks to push away from the pack behind. Got a little train going back here. Jake really closing in on Bluebell. He goes for the move, quite risky. Bluebell has the grip to fight it back. Shows him the bit of a nudge on the exit the castle section. Neither have any boost, I don't believe. No, they're both out, but Jake on the softs goes round the outside at the final real corner and takes 5th place back. Levioso looking for a Hunt 3, spending 2 tokens today, so he should be on for a fantastic finish, to be totally honest. Everyone spending tokens should be, but Anti currently up in 4th place, spending no tokens. So this is a really interesting sort of a preview of the season finale at Interlagos, seeing that there will be no tokens spent whatsoever in that race as mandated. Just seeing how the car performance gets along. Obviously really interested that the BFXs both starting 4th and 5th, top of the non-token spenders. So they just have a really, really good car, really suited to this track, which is very impressive for the team that are brand new to the sport, only joining at the very start of this season. Fantastic for them. Jake breaks clear, Urus, then G4, then Sobel with a monster gap already. Any battles going on? Bluebell Boy hunting down Levioso. This is for 6th and 7th positions. Levioso on the softs actually makes more gains on Anti. He's closing, has a little look down the inside, nothing doing there. Little look again, gets a good exit despite Anti using boost. He's already closed up right to the back of him. Lev just needs to deploy a little bit, but here comes Bluebell, puts Lev into the wall. Lev bounces back, still behind Anti in the same order as they were, fighting over 5th, 6th and 7th. Lev makes a mistake on the exit of the castle section. Bluebell goes through on him. Bluebell challenging Anti, takes the inside into the final corner. He's up into 5th place. Levioso gets a better exit. He's up into 6th. Anti into the pit lane. Levioso to the outside of Bluebell going into turn 1, does get the move done. Bluebell tries to fight it back. He will have the inside for the double left-hander and keeps the inside. He's now forced to the outside, slightly shoved into the wall by Levioso. Fantastic scrap from those 3 drivers over the course of the last lap. It's not quite over yet, but it might just cease now as Bluebell skids away back out from Leviosa's slipstream range. Right, we've got the SFR cars in 8th and 9th. Fantastic running for them. Not spending any tokens today, of course. Ikolowski, final runner in the points. Vlado 2, then Andres, Kubo, and then Jaruni, Grandi, Spuda, and Game on Goose, Pit Crew, Hernandi. And, and Hernandi is your final running. Oh, and Hetmenica. My apologies. He is in last place at the moment. Sobel just having lapped him. Coming on to lap 13 of this Grand Prix. Really interested to see the AI all taking the mediums and the hards here, as opposed to running the soft compound of tyre. So we'll have to see how that works out for all of them. G4 still making a 1-2 for PMP. Eurus hunting him down, actually. He's really closed up recently. They're obviously on the same age tyres, same life tyres, so I'll have to see how they can get along with this. So something you might notice about the tokenless spend is, from the drivers obviously not spending any tokens, there isn't a whole deal of overtaking because there's no clear advantage. Tokens grow up much more of a clear advantage than car upgrades, but car upgrades, not to be neglected, obviously really do help. We see Bluebell getting past Jake Brand there, despite the fact that Jake is using 2 tokens today. Sorry, 1 token today. Jake gets a nice little move back coming into the castle section. Bluebell doesn't really have a defense for that. Jake is on the fresh, hard compound tyres. You'd have to wonder why he was overtaken in the first place. Beautiful sight of the SFRs snaking their way through the castle section there. Then Ikolowski and Rito, who's pitted onto brand new medium, as a little soft compound tyres, medium soft. He's running in 9th, makes an overtake there. Closer gaps up the order. Eurus got 2 lapped cars in between him and G4 here. So we're still running out in front. No change there, no pitting yet from the front runners. G4, Eurus and Sobel all still out on track, currently on their old hards. Jake Brand in 4th place, Levioso in 5th, Anti and Bluebell, who's of course recently pitted. Rito same, so it's 7th and 8th for the BFX, the BBB Force X cars. Vlado 1 and Vlado 2 running in synchrony. They're in 9th and 10th at the moment. Spuda hunting down that final point position. He's in 11th, Grandi, then Ikolowski, who's just pitted onto the fresh hards, explaining the drop down from inside the points to 13th place. They've got Andres, we've got Jaruni and his teammate Goose right behind him. Goose, our winner here last year in Baku. He's decided not to go for any tokens this year, which is a really interesting choice because, I mean, any tokens would be doing you a lot of favours essentially. Sobel and G4 going nose to tail into the pit lane. G4's really caught him up here. This double stack will hurt G4, but not significantly. Really, it looks like Eurus pulled the undercut there. So we've got actually the front 3 all together in this pack, all fighting over first place. Fantastic. The PMPs side by side for the lead. Sobel sticks onto it. Eurus having a little look at the inside. G4 to the outside. Round the outside he goes. Takes the lead of the race. Sobel and Eurus battling. Eurus to the inside now. Coming into the final corner. Gets stuck behind Grandi. Grandi shifting across there. Sobel and Eurus to the outside of G4. He drops from 1st to 3rd after a poor exit out of the final corner. It's as they were. Eurus now ahead of G4 despite G4's pretty good advantage over him in the last few laps. Eurus on the mediums, remember, these won't last as long but will be faster towards the beginning of the stint, so this is where he can make that impact. He's taken the undercut, he's gotten himself into the mixer, and he just needs to pull past the PMPs and just hope and pray for a really, really good bit of pace that will carry him to potentially a race win against the odds, actually, because Sobel is spending 4 tokens, but Eurus has done it before. I believe he got 2nd place, spending only 1 token in Kialami last season for the season finale, and that gave him the Season 1 World Drivers' Championship. He comes up to lap his teammate Kubo now, and Eurus just starting to pull away. Kubo gets a little bit in the way of Sobel, but the Sobel gets a rocket ship of an exit here. He goes all the way down the inside. Eurus covers off the inside, but Sobel squeezes his way through that gap. Really, really good overtaking maneuver. And he's back up into 1st place. Eurus then G4. Jake still running in 4th. He's got to fight Levioso for that. They're both on their pretty old, hard and medium compound tyres. Pit crew in the way, especially going through the castle section. It's the worst place to have a lap car in the way. That's really showed it. Look how much time he's lost on Jake just through that corner. Pit crew still in the way, still wiggling across the track, puts him in the wall once again, and Lev has dropped massively to Jake. He's fully removed from that battle for 4th place, but he goes into the pit lane now and looks to pull an undercut and regain some of that lost time. Bluebell promoted up into 5th place because of that stop. Levioso emerges in 6th ahead of Vlado 1 in 7th, Anti in 8th, Rito comes into pit now in 9th, and Spuda in 10th, crossing hairs with Vlado 2 in the pit lane as Urist and Sobel come up to lap them, and it looks like Urist on his mediums still holding the lead of the race here. Sobel very close behind. Can he craft a move coming into or out of the castle section? He can. He just about gets the grip, sticks it around the outside, and he will take the lead of the race back. We got a fantastic fight for the lead in Season 1. We're getting a fantastic fight for the lead in Season 2. Sobel spending a token more, but in what looks on paper to be not as good of a car. PMP really hurt in their acceleration stats. They've only got 3 of that. Team Velocity have 7, so really have a look at how they exit the corners. We've seen Sobel get some rocket ship exits, in fairness to him, but in terms of the other stats, PMP's massive leaps this season gotten them equal on speed. Now that's 6 for each of them. 2 behind on Turbo, VLO on 7, and PMP on 5, and then Grip. PMP actually has over them. PMP with 6 grip, Team Velocity with 5, so they've made real strides this season. We see G4 getting through on Urist there. Urist, though, not losing the back of him. He's determined to try and get this position back. He goes a little bit wide on the exit there, just loses that gap down those mediums now, starting to go off the hards, still in pretty good conditions. PMP looking really good for a 1-2 finish here, but Urist, if anyone, will be the man to stop him. 4th place is Levioso's at the moment. Jake and him come into the pit lane, and the front 3, you can really tell, in a league of their own. Half a lap, pretty much. Not quite, but a significant distance ahead of anybody not fighting for the podium. So this is a 3-horse battle for the podium, for the race win as well here. Jake Brad in 5th, Bluebell in 6th, Anti in 7th, and Rito in 8th, Vlado 1 in 9th, and Spuda in 10th. Andres in 12th, Vlado 2 between them in 11th place. Grandy comes through. Ekolowski 14th, he's dropped down after making a stop recently. Goose comes in for his stop now, he's in 15th. Kubo 16th place. 17th is Chirudi's, not a great race for FVR at the moment. 18th place for Pit Crew. 19th Hetmanica, 20th Hernandez. This gives you a good indication, without the tokens being spent, of where the cars actually are in terms of pace. Levioso and Jake obviously both spending tokens, that doesn't really count, but Bluebell running in 6th and Rito running in 8th, really good sign for the BFXs. Similarly, Anti running in 7th, Vlado 1 running in 9th, really good sign for the SFRs. They've really gotten their straight line speed package right and don't suffer too much through the corners. Still out in the lead, G4 still ahead of his teammates. Sobel, who's in 2nd place, closing down that gap just ever so slightly, coming through the final bits of the lap there. Urist coming out of the pit lane, detached in 3rd place, but we'll have to see how he can get on. Still ahead, pits and still comes out ahead of Levioso and Jake Brad, so he's got a comfortable gap there. But now we've got G4 and Sobel once again, nose to tail. Sobel to the outside coming into turn 1, and he breezes back through to take the 1st place position. We've got no real team orders here at PMP, as there wasn't in SBM just 2 weeks ago, and the two teammates not fighting aggressively with each other actually, but sensibly swapping positions down the straight and just making sure that they can ensure that their main battle here is Urist. I mean, as much as they both love to win a race, Sobel and G4 never won a race. Sobel, I don't believe, has ever been on the podium in Sunday League Virtual. One of the only drivers in Season 1 to never stand on the podium. Am I correct in saying that? I think I might be. Let me have a look. Sobel, who finished in 12th place last season, never stood on the podium. Heavy rain on the way as G4 has pitted for hards. That's for him into the clutches of Eurus, but massively benefited Sobel, who is going to come in this lap anyways. Was going to be undercut by G4 and Eurus potentially, but both of those guys now also have to come into the pit lane. Just 17 laps to go in this race, and a little bit sketchy coming into the pits, but everyone makes it out safely. Eurus still behind G4, got the lapped car of Nandi in the way, and the final cars coming into the pits just at the very end of their lap. Of course, everyone taking the full wet weather tyres, with it being heavy rain. G4 and Eurus, this is the battle for second place here. Eurus looking to really make a challenge. Eurus actually spending more tokens than G4, let's not forget. So something must be going right with the PMP car that G4 is able to stick ahead of him. He's only spending 2 tokens this race. Eurus spending 3, Leviosa spending 2, Jake spending 1, Bluebell, everyone else, every single other driver spending 0 tokens this race. Right, Eurus falls back from G4 a little bit. No particular battle going on there. See, we've got a battle for 8th place here. Vlado 1 to the outside of Rito. Rito looking to switch that back, but pit crew weaving a little bit going into the final corner there. God, he's really not liked people lapping him so far this race. He's caused some issues going on there. Bluebell, Rito's teammate, up in 6th place, again struggling to get past Medica. Jake being unlapped by Vlado 204. Levioso not really facing any issues. He's coming up to lap Rito and Vlad, who are still battling over that 8th place position. You get 4 points for that, so not a huge dollop of points, but you certainly get some significance out of that, particularly obviously in a race where you're spending 0 tokens. So Bluebell spending 0 tokens, finishing 6th, would be a Sunday League virtual record for the highest finishing position of any tokenless driver. Really interesting. He's hunting down Jake Brad, who is using a token, but it looks like the BFX package is just much more suited to the track. The fact that he can stick with Jake Brad. Jake driving the special livery for BAR today, the gorgeous purple car. Purple symbolising their royalty as a team. They've donned out the red and white just for this race. But the BAR car, not too bad at all. 5 speed, 7 acceleration, 7 turbo, 6 grip. But the BFX car, 7 speed, 5 acceleration, 8 turbo, 6 grips. They are pretty significantly more suited to tracks with long straights. Suddenly got one of those here. Battle's still going on over 8th place. We've got Rito and Vlado 1 fighting over 8th and 9th. The rain is now going, Eurus, really interestingly, into the pit lane. Is he the only driver in? He is. This is huge. This could be a fantastic undercut for the Portuguese driver, because by the time he reaches the next corners, I mean, the rain is now gone. The rain is fully gone. The sun is out, but we'll have to see. Yeah, it looks like Sobel made the right call to pit on this later lap, because he was already on the final straight as the rain was announced. Hetmanica drifting sideways into the pit box there after some confusion. We'll see where Eurus emerges in comparison. He will be pretty significantly behind G4. That one lap undercut that probably could have worked had it been sunny conditions when the track was drying up, because that would have dried up much faster and he would have gotten crucial grip through those first couple corners. Not quite worked out for him here. Levioso, interestingly enough, having closed up to these guys, the gap was 12 seconds from the front 3 to 4th place. It now stands at just 3 seconds, so that is largely in thanks to the wacky pit strategies we've seen so far. Still the fight going on between Vlado 1 and Rito, 8th and 9th place here. Vlado 1 to the outside going into turn 1, takes that 8th place back. Really solid result for the teams. I mean, you've got a basically direct team battle here, because you've got Bluebell Boy in 6th, Anti in 7th, Vlado 1 in 8th, and Rito in 9th. It is very much BFX versus SFR. If you want a little overview of the SFR car, it looks pretty inferior to the BFX car in a lot of areas. They've got 6 speed compared to BFX's 7. They do have 6 acceleration to BFX's 5. They have 5 turbo to BFX's 8. And they've got 4 grip to BFX's 6. They go side by side once more through the chicanes as they head into that tight right-hander. Vlado 1 though, not giving anything up here, still right on the warpath for Rito, still hunting him down. Got just 9 laps to go here in this Grand Prix. We'll have a little look at the strategy of the front runners as Bluebell starts to maybe look to close the gap on Jake Brad, who's been severely set back, is now 9 seconds behind Levioso, who he was battling earlier. Urist closing in on G4. This is really interesting because G4 has taken the hard compound tyre, looking to stretch it right to the end of the race. Urist and Sobel both on the softs. Urist will get much better pace, especially through the high speed sections on the soft compound tyres. We'll have to see how he can do here. Uses a little bit of boost, doesn't account too much. G4 still sticking it out in that second place. I mean, it would be absolutely crucial points. This looks like potentially it could be PMP's only chance of scoring points all season long. We have to remember, absolutely remember that this is still a backmarker car. This is still probably the worst, if not maybe the kind of bottom 2 on the grid in terms of cars. So in terms of unexpected results in Sunday League Virtual, of course, we get a lot of chopping and changing with the winners, with lots of different teams spending different tokens, but broadly you have your kind of favourites. You have Urist and the VLO team have been doing quite well, the WTech team performing well on occasion, SBM when they do spend their tokens, PMP coming into the season with far and away the worst car, and getting a 1-2 in the 4th round would be something for the history books. Urist pits, re-overtakes Levioso, who was on much older mediums, looking to stretch those to the end of the race. G4 getting ahead of Sobel, with Sobel into the pit lane now, so really interesting to see what will be going on between these PMP cars. Surely it should be G4 letting his teammate by, but I'm sure that PMP are happy to let their boys to be free to race as long as they don't waste time and get caught by Urist. Sobel looks to the outside going into the chicane, makes the move, makes it stick, and that was pretty easy for him. He's now growing that gap on G4, and it looks like that might be the final overtake we'll see for the lead of the race from the man who has never stood on a Sunday League Virtual podium before, from the man who has in previous races this season really not performed. He's finished P18, P20 in his first 2 races, and spending 3 tokens last race, only finishing P9, which is obviously tragic, but sort of to be expected in the car that he's driving. So you can't expect that much more from these drivers. Now, Urist still looking to close that gap, but he is running out of laps to do it. Only 2 laps left to catch G4 and stop PMP from taking the first ever 1-2 in Sunday League Virtual. He's got good pace on these softs, but he's got limited time, only about a minute of the race left to try and get in and catch him. He's got a lot of lapped cars in the way too. Anti being slid off into the wall there. Vlado 2 and Andri still ahead of him now as we do head on to the final lap of the race. Sobel and G4 looking absolutely dominant all race long in one of the most peculiar races in Sunday League Virtual history. If you want to talk about unpredictability, it might not admittedly have been the best for on-track racing action, but in terms of pure unpredictability, in terms of coming into this race, the favourite teams, the favourite drivers, these guys are not who you would have said, but they have come through, raced incredibly well, and Sobel wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. G4 comes home in 2nd place and makes it a 1-2 for Phoenix Motorsports, the team who finished last in the Constructors' Championship last season, the team who are currently last in the Constructors' Championship this season, have taken the first 1-2 in Sunday League Virtual history. What a monumental moment here in Baku. We'll have a look at the full results screen as we get it up now. Sobel wins here in Baku. G4 finishes in 2nd place, Eurus in 3rd, will take fastest lap. Levioso finishes 4th with just 2 tokens, Jake Brad 5th with just 1 token ahead of Bluebell Boy 6th with none. We've got the BFXs in 6th and 8th, and they in the end outmaneuvered the SFRs who finished 7th and 9th. Spooder comes home to finish in 10th place, a good result for him. Going down the rest of the field, Vlad 0204 finishing just outside the points in 11th place, Grandi in 12th, and Andres in 13th for WTech, Ikoloski 14th, and Giroudi 15th. Kubo down in 16th with Goose, 2 positions behind his teammate in 17th place. Pit Crew takes 18th for Thunderex, Fernandi in 19th, Hetmenica very last in the field. What a fantastic, fantastic result for Phoenix Motorsports, the team who, against all the odds, against everything that anyone has been saying about the car, the team, the performances, the team who have never ever taken a podium in Sunday League virtual history, have taken one today. A fantastic result for them, 1st and 2nd in Azerbaijan. That's all for this week. We'll see you next time around for round 5 of the Sunday League virtual season at the Hungaroring. Until then, bye bye.